it's been nearly 2 years since the version 3.0 update dropped for Super Mario Maker 2, and that added a bunch of brand new things. Since it's been a while for a new update, I thought I would pile a tier list together to show you which one is the best, which are great additions to Mario Maker, and which are just which aren't as great. Now, if you haven't seen a tier list, basically it's ranked from S to D. S being in this case, S being the most useful and most interesting, and D just being, it's really like not that useful and it can be annoying or whatever. And this can be based, and this is also, just remember that these are my opinions, and that if you have a different opinion than I have, that's okay. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started with the S tier. So first up, we have the cape. Now the cape is really, really cool. You can literally soar through the air and get a huge leap. And then when you're in the air, you can just control your speed. I mean, it's really used for cheesing levels, but it's so fun. And on the subject of flying power-ups, the Acorn Suit is literally one of my favorite power-ups that they brought over in version 3.0. This power-up is really, really interesting because you can fly through the air and you can get a leg up when you're in the air. Now, the propeller suit can do that and give you a longer distance, but it's easier to control and you can soar for longer, so I think that that's more of a win. The Master Sword. Ooh. Now, you want to talk about a great power-up from version 2.0? Look no further than the Master Sword. This thing has so many features. The bomb, the down thrust, the dash, just the slashing in general, and it's just insane how much of a toolkit it has. The cat suit is also an amazing power-up. It's just mind-boggling to me that it was brought over from 3D World to Mario Maker 2 so seamlessly, and just how it was and how it really is in Mario Maker 2. SB2 Mushroom, this is my favorite new power-up that they brought over in version 3.0. Because it's just really cool. You can ride on all enemies, and it's especially useful for bullet bills and bonsai bills. You could ride them, and that makes for really, really unique levels, and it's just so fun to ride through all the levels and just seeing what's there. The Yoshi egg. You know, as loving Yoshi so much, Yoshi is also really great in Mario Maker 2. Yoshi is he has so much power. He can flutter jump, he has the power to eat enemies, he can jump on spikes, and he's of course adorable. Like, how can you hate Yoshi? Like, honestly. And even the red Yoshi is also really useful. It has the same features as Yoshi, except it breathes fire, instead of, being able to eat enemies. And that's super cool. Now, I know the logo that I made the tier list is kind of blocking these three, but Bowser is next, and I think Bowser is great in Mario Maker 2, because since you're able to create your own levels and bosses, people have come up with super creative ways to implement Bowser. And I've seen more creative ways to implement Bowser than bad ways to implement Bowser, and I'm being completely honest. Ludwig. Ludwig is my favorite Koopaling of all time, and also he's really great in Mario Maker 2 and has made really, really unique levels. He has the power to flutter jump like Yoshi and shoot 3 to 5 fireballs. That's insane. And it's made for really unique levels where, Ludwig clones, there's Ludwig clones and you have to defeat him, and I just think those are really cool. The checkpoint. The checkpoint is an S because, honestly, a checkpoint is always good to have, especially when you're beating a hard level. It's just a nice way to reward the player for making it far, and you sometimes will get a power-up with it too, so that's really nice and unique. But, yeah. Now we're going to move on to A tier. So first up is the clear pipe. The clear pipe is is one of my favorite parts about 3D World. It's a clear pipe, so you just travel through the pipe to get to a destination, and it sometimes could be faster than a green pipe. But it is very weird. It's very different from a normal pipe because, usually when you go, let's say you're playing multiplayer co-op or versus, for example, if you go through a pipe or a door, a normal pipe or a door, then you will just you'll have invincibility frames because an enemy might be right on top of you. But with the clear pipe, it just kills you automatically, so you have no way of avoiding that, but that's just a minor complaint. The clown car. The clown car is a really, really cool item. It allows you to fly through an entire level, and when you have the Fire Koopa Clown Car, it makes for an insane top-down shooter level, and those are always super fun to play. It's just so fun to see how it's implemented. The slopes are really cool in Mario Maker 2. The gentle or the steep slopes, they are really, really fun and are usually used in great ways. And judging by the fact it was the first thing announced that was new in the Mario Maker 2 announcement trailer in 2019. But it's a big deal, and I'm really glad it's in. The Big Mushroom. I think the Big Mushroom is a very, very good power-up. It allows you to get big, and it allows you to break some certain blocks, and it's insane because, I mean, these power-ups, the variety in power-ups in SMB1 is insane because it's just, I don't know. My only complaint with the Big Mushroom is they got rid of the CRT filter that was in Mario Maker 1 when you got the Big Mushroom, but I can kind of understand why they removed it. The Boomerang Flower was another great power-up in version 3.0. This allows you to throw boomerangs and can even be traveled through clear pipes, so it can hit on-off switches, and it's just a really good power-up, and I haven't really seen a bad use for it yet. Fire Flowers. The Fire Flower is one of the first Mario power-ups, and it still holds up really good. It allows you to shoot fireballs at your enemies, and what really makes it good is combining it with other things, like the Fire Yoshi or the Fire Koopa Clown Car. Though combining those elements is a really great way to go by making these power-ups, and I think it's a really cool way. The Goomba Mask is another great power-up and is one of the many the masks from the 3.0 update. This allows you to fool enemies by when you put the Goomba mask on, enemies will not attack you, they will just keep doing their own thing. That doesn't mean you're invincible, because you could still hit the enemies and then they'll recognize you. But yeah, I think the Goomba mask is a really cool power-up, definitely one of my favorites. And speaking of the masks, the propeller box is honestly, to me, a better version of the propeller suit. The propeller box gives you 3 charges, and it's just really, really fun and useful to use. Like, it has the same power of a propeller suit, except it's just a lot better. But the propeller suit is still good, but we'll get into that soon. The hammer suit is a new power-up introduced for 3D World. This power-up is really cool. It allows you to break blocks and build up to 5 boxes to help with platforms. It's such a cool power-up, and I think it's one of my favorite parts about 3D World, in my opinion. The Bob-omb is another great enemy. It's useful really in like Kaizo areas where you can like spin jump on the bomb when it's like big in like New Super Mario Bros. U and Super Mario World, I believe. It's a really cool enemy. I really like the bomb. Cheeps are also really cool with the amount of uses they have. They can be used underwater, and when they're on land, they just bounce around. And even in castles, they'll jump in lava, or they'll be in lava, and it's just really cool to see how these cheeps are implemented. The Hammer Bro is another cool enemy. This guy will throw hammers, and if it's the Fire Bro, they'll throw fireballs at you. They're really cool enemies. They have a good radius of hitting you, and they can be used really well in certain levels. The Porky Puffer is also a really interesting enemy. This fish is the only enemy, I believe, that literally eats Mario. That will literally eat Mario. So I guess that makes him somewhat unique. But Porky Puffer is, in all seriousness, a really cool enemy. It's a good way for you to it's a good distraction because he'll come out charging for you, which is another cool feature he has. Skip Squeaks are also another enemy in 3D World that can easily be implemented. For example, since they only jump when you jump, so that can be used to get power-ups. Like if there's a mushroom right by a Skip Squeak, then you just jump and boom, you've got a power-up. And I just think that's really cool. The Thwomps are also really good additions to 3D, well, not to 3D World, to alt styles, because there are so many ways it can be used, especially because it can move in different directions. It can't just move down, it can move left and right too, and it's just, the thwomps are really cool. Now you might be thinking why the arrow is an A tier. Well, the arrows are actually really great to have in a level, because most of the time it shows the player where they're going. It helps them guide the player where to go, and we're just not going to count troll levels, because sometimes they just lead you to a trap, but yeah, I really like the arrows. Beat blocks. Beat blocks are another really cool gizmo in Mario 3D World. I think they're really fun to they're really unique, and I don't know, I just really like the beat blocks. My only complaint with it was I wish we could control how fast the beat blocks goes, but then again, it could be due to maybe the Kaizo nature and how it would have been implemented, but either way, it's still good to have it here. Dash panel block is a really cool block to have in 3D World and was added in version 2.0 and can make you run really, really fast, which is also a plus. Fire bars. The fire bars are also really good power-ups well, not a power-up, it's more of a gizmo, if anything. The fire bar is really, really unique, and it can be extended from being short to long, and it's good in castle levels and airship levels, but can be used really anywhere. Skewers are also another good castle level. You basically have the ability, you can move it down, right, left, or up, and it's just really useful because it could be used in like a survival situation, and that's really neat. Power blocks are also one of my favorite blocks because you can destroy any enemies nearby, even Bowser, and it's just really cool it's kind of satisfying to get rid of all the munchers that are in your way, because power blocks are really the main way to defeat munchers. Now we're moving on to B tier. Now as we move on to B tier, there's going to be a lot of, B and C tier are going to have a lot of similar entries. So if I feel like I'm repeating myself, we may just I won't skip it. I'll talk about it obviously, but yeah. So first up is the propeller suit. Now the propeller suit is a great power up, do not get me wrong. However, the propeller box is a better version of the propeller suit because it's a lot faster, and it's just, to me, it's like a lot more useful than the propeller suit, but it's still a great power up. It allows you to soar in the air, and you could just fly, and you could just like keep your distance for a little bit. But yeah, the Super Leaf is the SMB3 flying power up. I really like this thing. It's just, you can run really fast. Once you get enough momentum, you can jump, and you can go fly as long as you can until your P meter runs out, and after that, you'll just fall gracefully. The question block is a good block because most of the time you'll get power-ups, or if someone's feeling really extra nice, they'll give you an enemy instead. But the question block is a really great block. It's a stable, and I just don't have much to say about it. The Angry Sun is really cool, and I'm so glad he got implemented into other styles as well. This can be used for really cool setups, like especially with the coins and the frozen coins, that can be used to like break the ice, to melt the ice, and I've seen a lot of really cool Angry Sun elements. The P balloon. Now here's the thing, if the P balloon, when that was added, I was afraid it was going to be added like it was in Super Mario World, where the controls were really off in Super Mario World. But in Mario Maker 2, they have been completely improved. I really like the controls of the P balloon in Mario Maker 2. So yeah, that's really good to have, and yeah. The brick block is almost the same as the question block, except it's probably going to give you like coins, and it's more used for like aesthetics, at least what I've seen, but yeah, there's not much to say. The blooper is another enemy that is used mainly underwater, but can be used on ground. It's just another standard enemy. The pipe. This allows you to transport from one place to another, and it does its job. I mean, unless it trolls you, but the donut block is a very cool block. When you stand on it for a long period of time, then it will disappear. It will slowly levitate on the way down. So you have to jump on it to keep your steady pace for it, or just straight up just run fast so you don't have to worry about it disappearing. So it's a pretty good block in general. The cloud block is another cool block. It's basically just the normal block, except it has a nice little cute little cloud face on it. So yeah, and then of course there's the main semi-solid ground. That's just basically the main ground you use just to run. There's not much to say about that. Lemmy is a decent boss. He basically throws balls that you can jump on and defeat Lemmy with. He's a pretty interesting boss in general, but not my personal favorite, but he's still pretty good. The ice block is like a normal block, except it makes it a little bit more slippery. Yeah. The note blocks are really cool additions. They allow you to get an extra boost when you jump on it, and they can be used for amazing music levels. So that's always great to hear all the music levels. The Bonsai Bill is a really cool enemy. He soars really fast at you, and you have to you could probably duck to avoid him in some cases, but you know, it's always a surprise seeing him come charging towards you. The Chain Chomp is also a really neat enemy. He's in a chain, and especially when they're big, they're a lot more. They're really fun, and I don't really see a bad use for them, at least yet. I mean, probably in a little timid level, but that's the case for all of these entries. The exclamation block is another really cool item in 3D World. It has just so many uses. It's like it can be used as stairs. It can be used as a platform. It's really cool. Except a player can just literally kill you with it, since it has like so much so much creativity, I guess, with it, whatever you'd like to call it. Charvarg is a really good enemy. I think he's really unique because he's kind of like a lava bubble, except he of course comes in one direction right towards you. So yeah, the 10 coin. Of course, the 10 coin is such a great thing to put in your level. It's a good way to reward a player for finding a secret, especially when you can customize it with a 10 coin, 30 coin, or 50 coin. It's definitely good to have that in your level, just to reward the player for finding a secret. The Bullet Bill Mask allows you to get the power of a Bullet Bill and go really, really fast, actually faster than a Bullet Bill. It's really cool. It has a certain gauge, but it's a really good wearable. Not my personal favorite, but yeah. The Cannon Box is another good wearable where you could basically shoot cannonballs from your face and can use it to it just has so many uses because you can shoot long distance and short distance. It's just a really cool power up. Kamek, or the Magic Koopa. He can teleport and shoot his PlayStation symbols at you. I think I've seen a lot of cool Magic Koopa levels, and it's just really cool to see. The coin is kind of like the 10 coin in a way, except it's just one coin, and coins are usually used for like indicators and stuff, but yeah, there's not much to say about the coin. The Rocky Wrench is a Monty Mole, except he throws wrenches, but we'll talk about the Monty Mole in a bit. The Goomba Shoe is basically in SMB 1 and SMB 3. You can get the Goomba Shoe, and there are many uses for it, such as there is a normal shoe and then there's the stiletto shoe. The normal shoe, when you have a big shoe, you can ground pound and get rid of enemies. And then with the stiletto, you can break most bricks, and yeah, there's just a lot of great uses for the shoe, and yeah. The key coin is basically just if you collect a certain amount of key coins, you will get a key. There's not much to say about that. The Boo is another really cool enemy. You just don't look at it, and it won't scare you, and it won't attack you unless you're playing versus. And combining that with the Boo Buddies is really unique. It can make for pretty intense levels. And it would be cool to see them get customized, but I don't know. That might be just me. The Power Clock to me maybe is probably the weakest of the wearables, and that's not me saying it's a bad power up. I just use this one the least. The Power Block basically allows you to get up to 3 hits off bricks, which allows you to get coins and kill some enemies, which is also really nice to have. And yeah. The Bully it's honestly surprising to see the Bully return from Mario 3D World, in my opinion. I didn't think they were going to return. Basically, you jump on their heads, and they can push you back, and can be used for some really cool, like, boss rushes, because sometimes they can be considered as a boss, but yeah. The doors also, or the warp door, this thing can be used as a door, a P-switch door, and a key door, which can be used for many different elements. But since it's just a door, it's not much for me really to say. The Buzzy Beetle is a really cool power-up. It can be used for a lot of Kaizo tricks like shell jumps and stuff like that, because I'm sure this is also including the Buzzy Beetle Shelmet. The Buzzy Beetle is a really good power-up, but yeah. The Dry Bones. The Dry Bones is you can mainly see him in like towers, so you can just alright, so basically you would just stomp on him and he'll come back to life after a little bit. But yeah, the Fishbone is a Dry Bones, but it's a fish. And if it hits a wall, then it disappears and it breaks down. So yeah. The Spike was another enemy I was really happy to see come in version 2.0. He throws spike balls at you, and you can spin jump on him, and yeah, it can be combined with seesaws to make a really unique area, but yeah. Lakitus is also a really cool enemy. It can throw spinies, coins, power-ups, enemies. It can throw a lot of things which can be used really wisely, but yeah. The Lava Bubbles are kind of like a nerfed version of the Charvargs. Basically, they just move in one direction and are just used really in lava, but obviously can be placed anywhere, but I mostly see them in lava. So the Mecha Koopas. The Mecha Koopas, I think, were added in version 3.0. These basically you get them, and they're like little robot Koopas. You can stomp on them, and you can recreate a Super Mario World boss fight at the end, I suppose. The on-off switch. The on-off switch is a great block. Basically, you hit the switch, and on-off blocks or anything that interacts with the on-off switches will turn on and off. The track. The track is mainly used for helping guide a path for something like a platform or a coaster, but actually, oh my goodness, I can't speak. It can actually be paired with the on-off switch, and it can help control the flow of the track, which is really cool. The on-off trampoline is exclusive to 3D World. When it's turned on, it gives the player an ability to bounce on the trampoline, but when it's turned off, it's just a normal platform. The on-off block is also like that. When the on-off switch is on, the block will appear and will give you platforms to walk on, but when it's turned off, it'll just disappear. There will be no block. The Monty Mole is a really unique enemy. Basically, he just comes running at you, and you can easily stomp on it, and you could make I'm trying to think. I don't think there's many uses for the Monty Mole, at least not that I've seen, but yeah, I don't know. Morton Koopa. So Morton Koopa is a really cool, he's a good Koopaling. Basically he jumps and ground pounds fire at you, and if you're standing on the ground, you could obviously get hit with the fire and he stuns you, but yeah. Roy also is kind of similar to Morton, except he doesn't shoot fire. He teleports and just appears randomly and ground pounds randomly. The Spike Tops. Spike Tops are mainly used like up top on like maybe high underground levels, like so that like if you jump too high they'll hit you. But yeah, they're really not that much different from a Buzzy Beetle, except the fact they have a spike on them. Munchers. Munchers are also really cool enemies. They really can't be defeated unless you have a power block, but they can be ran over, like you can run over them if you have a star, but you just can't defeat them. Sting Bees are exclusive to 3D World. These bees will just attack you. They're like a normal flying enemy, except they have a more linear type deal. I don't know. Wigglers. Wigglers are just little caterpillars that can run after you, and if you stomp on one, they'll become angry and charge at you more. Windy has the ability to shoot rings, and I think in SMB1, SMB3, and SMW, you can actually they'll stay, but in New Super Mario Bros. U, I believe they disappear, but I can't remember exactly. The Buzzsaws are a better version of the spike blocks, which we'll talk about in a bit. But these things are spinning. If you touch them, well, then they'll probably lose your power up, and they're you'll fall right through them if you get hit by them. But Yoshi can jump on them in Super Mario World, I believe. I can't remember if he can jump on them. Wait, can he? I maybe should have thought about that before this video, but I digress. The bullet bill blast, the bill blaster. This can be used for more than just bullet bills. It can be used for coins, mushrooms, and other enemies besides bullet bills, which makes these things really useful. But it's always a guess to see what you're gonna get. Trampolines. The trampolines are like the on-off trampolines, except when you'll always be able to bounce on them and get a higher distance. But yeah, cannonballs. Cannonballs are they can be basically sorted in all directions and move in one direction right towards the player. And the red cannonballs tend to shoot a lot faster. The cloud platform is kind of like the trampoline, except you don't bounce on it and it moves from left to right. The one-way gates. The one-way gates are mainly used for like boss type, maybe in like boss areas where it shows the player that you can't go back, but sometimes they're used for funny trolls because of course they are. The P-switch. The P-switch is used to open P-switch doors. It turns coins into bricks or bricks into coins, and allows P-blocks to be formed. It's a really cool power-up, or it's not a power-up, it's a gizmo. And it can also be performed with the P-switch jump. So, yeah, the P-block can really only be used when a P-switch is hit, and depending on when the P-switch is hit, it depends on how useful the level is. The seesaw is another cool gizmo. It can be adjusted. The length can be adjusted for it, and just seeing how many situations you can see with the seesaw and how it works is honestly kind of amazing. The snake block is another great gizmo. It allows you the green snake block allows you to move slowly, but the blue ice snake block moves really fast. Sometimes it can just be a boring maze, but I think they're really cool to see in Mario Maker 2. The tree is another 3D World exclusive item. This allows you to get coins, 1-ups, power-ups, all that jazz from a tree. And I think it's really cool. It's really satisfying to get something from a tree, especially a Super Bell and the Super Bell tree, but yeah. Trampoline. It's as simple as it sounds. You bounce on the trampoline and you get height. Simple as that. Really, the only use for it, I think of Spring Jump Kaizos that I can think of on the top of my head, but yeah. Twisters. Twisters allow you they'll let you get height. That was great grammar. They'll give you good height, and yeah, they're pretty useful overall. The warp box allows you to transport from one destination to another. It's kind of like a warp pipe or a door, except once you go in it, you cannot go back unless you start the level over. Oh boy. Now we're going to move on to C tier. Like I said, some of the entries on C tier are pretty similar to B tier, so I may give a little brief description of it. So first up is Pokies, which was added in version 2.0. Pokies are pretty good enemies. You can adjust they can be long or short, and Yoshi can eat them just like in Super Mario World and New Super Mario Bros. U. I think they're really cool enemies, and but they can be a little bit tougher, but yeah. Invisible blocks. I might have put the invisible block there because I'm salty with how many times I've gotten trolled by these things. But it's basically just a normal block, except you can't see it. Hop chops. Hop chops are basically just trampolines who are enemies, so if you're anywhere near it, it may kill you. But, yeah, not much to say besides it's just a trampoline, but it's an enemy. Iggy. Iggy's really big strat is just to shoot his wand and then just scurry on back. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten hit from his tricks, but yeah. Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr., unlike his dad, can be pretty useful in some ways. However, his moves are extremely predictable or unpredictable for that matter. Sometimes both. I don't know how that works, but yeah, he can throw hammers, shoot fire, and go into a shell. But yeah, the conveyor belt. The conveyor belt can be adjusted from being fast to slow to just medium-sized. I'm not a huge fan of the conveyor because I can easily be tricked by these things, but yeah. The bridge. The bridge doesn't really have a use for levels itself, it's more so just aesthetics to make it look nice, I feel like. The platform is kind of like the cloud platform we talked about in 3D World, except it's just a normal platform, but yeah. The spike block is kind of like a buzzsaw, except it has the capabilities of of a block, so if you touch it, then you won't fall through the buzzsaw. Instead, you'll just get hit like a normal like invincibility frame type deal. The Koopa Troopa. The Koopa Troopa allows you to stomp on him and you'll get a shell. You can use him for shell jumps in some ways, but also you can use him for, you can just rack a bunch of lives if you're playing endless. Mushroom platform. This is basically just a normal platform, except it has just the normal capabilities of a mushroom platform, so you can just like walk on it. Yeah, and it's more so also for aesthetics as well, but yeah. Ant Troopers. Ant Troopers have the ability to walk on walls in different directions, and they're kind of like the Spike Tops, except they're exclusive to 3D World, and and most of them are really unique. But yeah. Semi-solid platforms. These are basically kind of like the mushroom platforms, except they have a different look to them, and they're also kind of used for aesthetics in a way. But yeah, the Super Ball Flower. All right, so this may be kind of a surprise. The Super Ball Flower to me is okay. I definitely like the idea of it playing the Super Mario Land reference. But the thing is it's very hard to control, in my opinion. So when you shoot a Super Ball, you are locked in and you can't do anything about it, which can be really annoying, but that's just me. The regular block. This regular block is not really anything special compared to the other block. It just has normal capabilities of a block, but yeah. The One-Up Mushroom. It's really useful in story mode and endless, where you can get extra lives, but that's about it. The Mushroom. This allows you to get an extra height. This allows you to grow a bit taller and take an extra hit. But compared to the other power-ups, it's kind of weak. The Bumper. The Bumper is... I only put it in C tier because I do like the ability that you can get extra height. The problem with that is that there's a sweet spot that you can get the most height, which I feel like shouldn't be locked in. But that's just me. The Koopa Troopa car. This is another one that I feel like I shouldn't put in C tier, but I'm not a huge fan of. The Koopa car is very weird in its design. It's really hard to control and balance, and it can just be a pain to use. While I do like being able to just go through enemies, I just feel like that it's just okay. And if you hit a wall 3 times, then it'll just straight up break. Larry. Larry to me is by far the worst of the Koopalings. All he really does is jump, and that's about it. And I guess occasionally shoots his wand, but that's about it. Vines are also mainly used for bonus levels, like to climb up to a secret area. But I've seen them being used for other things, but yeah. Meowser. I'm only placing Meowser in C tier for a couple reasons. One, Meowser doesn't seem to be implemented right the most. Meowser is not really meant for a fireball spamming Meowser fight, I think. I might be wrong on that, so don't quote me on that. I think he's meant for more vertical based levels because he always just goes to the side of the screen. So, but I don't know, I could be wrong, but yeah. Piranha plants. Piranha plants are basically just plants that come out of the pipe, and fire piranha plants can blow fire at you. And you can spin jump on them if you want. Speaking of spin jumping on enemies, you can spin jump on the Spiny, which can be usually thrown above Lakitus, but can be a standalone enemy as well. I should also mention the Shelmet from the Spiny helmet, which allows you to get Spiny capabilities, which destroys enemies, whereas it has the Buzzy Beetle helmet, only bounces enemies up. The Crate. The Crate to me is good to have, especially in a lava level, because those are immune to killing you when you're on the lava. But with that being said, you can get crates with the hammer suit as well at your own pace. The Burner is also another pretty basic gizmo. It allows you to it creates a fiery situation, and it gets really used in like castles and airships. But yeah. Icicles, those are mainly used in snow levels. One icicle will just fall down right at you, and one will just stay still. So you just always gotta watch for that. But yeah, the key is mainly used for key doors, and that's about it. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes they just put a key in their level when there's not a key door. But yeah, the Skull Coaster. The Skull Coasters are pretty. They're okay. I'm not a huge fan because they can stop at random times. The white one goes pretty slowly, but the blue one goes really fast. But yeah. the swinging claw. I like the fact that you can swing around and just go to different parts of a level. The problem with the swinging claw is the hitboxes. The hitboxes feel a little off, and they don't feel just, to me, they feel just a bit off in my opinion. But again, that might be just me. Yeah, we've made it to D tier where there's only 4 entries. Alright, so first up is the Piranha Creeper. Now, the Piranha Creeper is good. I'm glad to see him appear in 3D World. The problem is, he is very, like, the hitbox is so weird on him. You could probably stomp on his head and you could still die, and I don't understand how that's still a thing. And worst of all, when you ground pound him and you go right down, he could be in his animation for dying, and he could still kill you. I understand that enemies can still do that, like the Hammer Bros can still do throw their hammers at you, and that can still kill you, but that's different because that's a projectile. What the Piranha Creeper does not have a projectile. The Frog Suit. The Frog Suit is by far the worst power-up in Mario Maker 2, in my opinion, for a couple reasons. The Frog Suit's main gimmick is that you can use it underwater to grow a little faster. The problem with that is that's all it's really used for. Yes, you can go faster on land if you hold a POW block or a P-switch, but that's only if you hold a POW block or a P-switch. If you don't have that, you are super slow, and it would probably be better just to go on without it. If it's underwater, yeah, I'll go for it, but if I'm on land, I almost never get it. The Goomba. Now, the Goomba is just a basic Mario enemy. He just walks towards you. You can easily stomp on him. Yeah. Boom Boom. Finally, for our last one, Boom Boom. By far the absolute worst boss in the entire game. I'm sorry, Boom Boom, but you can, in normal styles, even if you put a big mushroom or wings on him, he's still he's not that great of a boss in my opinion. So I'm sorry to do this, Boom Boom, but D tier. But yeah, that was my Mario Maker 2 Course Elements tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry that this was kind of a longer video, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed it because this was a lot of talking. But yeah, have a great day, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.